What's up everybody, this is DeAlphaWolf here. Welcome back to Wolf Whales, a channel all about what ifs, fanfictions, and scenario discussions. So before we get into the next part of our what if X-23 joined the MCU story, I want to give a quick shout out to Alex Rutledge, a fan who decided to leave me a really awesome comment on the last video. I wanted to show my support and my thanks for not only that you're enjoying this series, but that you're really excited for more, because we are about to get right back into it. So in the last part, Clint and Nat had a nice little heart-to-heart where he was hopefully able to give her some advice that might be able to help her in the future. Not only that, but Bruce and Tony were hard at work trying to get some artificial intelligence going, but can't quite seem to do it. And so, while the Avengers were all getting ready for a party, Nat decided she was going to pay one quick visit down to X-23 to try and butter the girl up a bit, to kind of persuade her, to show her that she's not really as bad as she seems. Not only was she able to give her extra food, but she was able to release the handcuffs on her and finally present her with the real name, Laura. So, now that we're all caught up, let's get back into the story. So, coming back to the party, we see everyone there having a good time as they celebrate the victory that they have over Hydra. Rhodey regales Tony and Thor with his war story, although the two don't seem to be too impressed. Rhodey leaves annoyed and finds a group that actually appreciates his story and gives him the laugh that he was looking for. Steve and Sam are making their way to the bar, while Steve tells Sam all about the raid and their newest resident. Sounds like you guys really got your hands full over here. Sorry I missed it. Well, we could always use a babysitter. I'm sure Romanoff would appreciate the help. I'm not actually sorry. Just giving out some sympathy. I'm very happy chasing leads on our missing persons case. Avenging is your world. And your world is crazy. Steve gives a small smirk at this, and the two proceed to talk about his search for an apartment. Bruce makes his way over to Nat as she pours herself a drink at the bar, asking in a joking manner, "So how'd a nice girl like you end up in a dump like this?" "Fella done me wrong. Plus, got a kid to look after, so the girl does what she's gotta do." "You got lousy taste in men, kid," he quips before noticing the bandage on her hand. "Whoa, Nat, your hand." Nat smirks at this. "It's not so bad. Just a little love bite. I think she's really warming up to me." She's got a bit of a temper, though so does he actually. But deep down, I think they're both all fluff, especially him. Fact is, he's not like anybody I've ever known. Well, that sounds kind of amazing. He's also a huge dork. Chicks dig that. So what do you think? Should I fight this, or run with it? Run with it. Right? Nat smiles at this and walks off, leaving Bruce confused and at the mercy of Steve, who comments that it's nice that he and Romanoff have this kind of thing going. Bruce stammers that there's nothing going on and that she just likes to flirt. Steve comments that he's seen her flirt, up close. This ain't that. Look, as maybe the world's leading authority on waiting too long, don't. You both deserve a win. And who knows? Play your cards right and maybe you can get the kid to warm up to you too. What do you mean, up close? As the party winds down, we find the team, sitting on the couches and chatting. Hawkeye continues to question Thor about Mjolnir, claiming it to be nothing but a trick. Thor offers him the chance to lift it, and when he can't, Tony makes a crack about it, leading to each of them attempting to lift it. Of course, none of them are able to, though Cap seems to be the closest. When Nat's turn comes up, she says,
"Oh, no, that's not a question I need answered."
all deference to the man who wouldn't be king, but it's rigged. Thor proceeds to pick it up, saying, "You're all not worthy. Romanoff, get the kid. I'm sure she could move it. I mean, after all, who's more worthy than a child, right? The age of a person does not change the worthiness, Stark. Besides, you really want to give her that chance? Can you imagine what would happen if she could actually shoot lightning and thunder along with that temper of hers?" Everyone gives various forms of agreement and laughs before a deafening screech grabs their attention. They all turn to find a Legion bot, broken and limping towards them, speaking about how none of them are worthy. Everyone stands, tense, freaked out about what's going on. Bruce soon puts it together that this is Ultron. The robot confirms it, that he's on a mission for peace in our time, before Legion bots start shooting around, attacking each of the Avengers. Everyone jumps into action as more Legion bots crash through the room and begin attacking, going crazy and firing missiles everywhere. Nat and Bruce dive behind the bar for cover, and though they land in a compromised position, she quickly grabs her gun and prepares for battle. As Nat begins firing out shots, the two quickly run up the stairs, diving for more cover. Once out of sight, she tells Bruce to stay hidden. But Nat, what about you? The building gives a shake before she replies. Ultron said that he killed someone. I gotta get down to the containment unit. Laura's down there. And I have to make sure she's alright. Before Bruce can protest, Nat takes off, heading for the stairs down to the lower level. Down in the prison unit, Laura has her hands covering her head, cowering as the room rumbles and shakes, debris falling all around her unit and crashing to the ground. The young girl doesn't know what's happening, but it terrifies her, especially since she doesn't have any access to any of her abilities. The door stairs flies open, giving a loud crash as Nat runs into the room and quickly starts pressing buttons on the control panel. Laura rushes forward to the front of the unit, panic written all over her face. Don't worry, I'm gonna get you out of there. Everything's gonna be... Nat is cut off as a Legion bot crashes through the floor, looking at the two menacingly before stomping towards the container. Nat pulls her gun back out and begins firing shots. The bullets slow it down, but she soon runs out, and she's forced to fight hand to hand. Grabbing a piece of fallen debris, Nat is able to stun the robot as she maneuvers, dodges, and bashes it with it. The robot stops, falling to the ground at her feet, giving Nat just a small glance before it turns off. Nat quickly runs back over to the controls and starts pressing more buttons before the door gives a loud hiss. Nat rushes forward and reaches her hand out to Laura, who hesitates as she looks at what could be very well her freedom, but also she's still unsure if she can really trust this woman. Laura continues to hesitate, though jumps when the room begins to shake and things start crashing around her again. Nat turns back and tells her, "You've got to trust me. I won't hurt you." After another pause, Laura steps forward and gingerly grabs her hand. Nat pulls her forward and begins to lead her away when the Legion bot jumps back up, lunging at them. Nat pushes Laura forward towards the door before being tackled to the ground. As she tries to struggle against it, she calls out, "Run, Laura! Head for the stairs!" Laura hesitates, looking from Nat to the door and back. This is her chance. She can run right now and probably escape the entire building without any of the others finding her. But was she really going to leave this woman, who had just risked her own life to come and save hers? Maybe this was just a trick. Maybe the woman didn't really want to save her and only wanted to save her for her own needs. But it didn't seem like that. Everything just didn't add up. Once again, Nat yells at her to get out of there as fast as she can while she struggles to get free from the bot, when, suddenly, without noticing, the weight of the bot is jerked forward and up off of her. Nat sits forward, only to see Laura on the back of the bot trying to choke it as it bucked wildly and randomly. The bot thrashed wildly, aggressively slamming the girl everywhere in every which way as it attempted to get her off of its back, before finally planting her into the wall. The sudden impact caused Laura to finally lose her grip and drop to the floor. Nat rushed forward and prepared to try to fight again when the sound of metal on metal reached her ears. The bot, now facing her, stops in its tracks before dropping to the ground, dead and unmoving. Nat looks and sees two long gash marks right in the center of his chest before looking up and seeing Laura standing on her feet. On the floor were the remnants of the collar as the girl stood, breathing in and out hard before retracting the two metal claws she used to pierce the back of the robot. Looking up, she gave Nat one single nod, saying, "I trust you." Everyone is gathered in the lab and are assessing any damages as well as any injuries that may have been sustained. Status report.
The scepter's gone. I'm going after it.
The Thunder God takes off, leaving no room for discussion. Steve nods, giving everyone a once-over as they all patch up. He then notices someone missing.
Where's Romanoff?
Right here. Everyone turns and stares in stunned silence as Nat stands in the doorway, her hands firmly planted on Laura's shoulders. The girl had an angry scowl on her face as she looked from one person to the next. Surprise. We cut back to Sokovia, where we find the twins walking into the church in the center of the city. Ultron presents himself, having escaped through the internet. The twins are startled by his appearance as he walks toward them.
I must say, I'm quite impressed with you both. But you needed more. That's why you let Stark take the scepter.
I saw his fear. I knew it would control him, make him self-destruct.
Everyone creates the thing they dread. Men of peace create engines of war. Invaders create Avengers. People create smaller people.
Children.
like the girl, who you also let them take, supplanted into their ranks to end them. And to do her credit, she fought well against them. Gave a good fight.
Is that why you came? To end the Avengers?
I've come to save the world. But also, yeah.
The three proceed back to the Hydra base, where Ultron explains they'll leave soon to make further preparations. Twins are amazed by the number of robots that have been made since they were last there. However, as Ultron drones on about the Avengers, what they've never had, and things of that nature, Pietro proves he's not interested before going into the backstory of how he and his sister got to be where they are today. Ultron is once again impressed.
I wondered why only you two survived Strucker's experiments. Now I know. We will make it right.
Back with the team, Laura sits quietly, though provides an angry glare to anyone who even looks at her, which mostly consists of Tony, Rhodey, and Maria Hill. Nat walks back over to her, wet towel in hand, and kneels in front of her. As she brings it to Laura's face, Laura jerks back. It's okay. Just gonna clean you up a bit. As Nat moves forward again, this time Laura doesn't jerk back, just staring at Nat. She moves forward again, and this time Laura doesn't move, staring at Natasha as she wipes away the blood and dirt. Are you hurt? No, Laura replies quietly. Nat smiles. The kid was tough, and she could definitely see that. Nat then takes the girl's hands and looks at her bloody knuckles. Taking the cloth, she begins to wipe the blood away, asking quietly, "Does it hurt?" This time, Laura didn't speak, but nods her head. Nat gives the girl a small smile before Tony speaks up. Well, not that this isn't touching Romanoff, but I think we could all use a bit of an explanation. I wasn't going to leave her with whatever it was that was going on in here, Tony, which hopefully someone has an explanation for. We'll get to that. Now, about the collar. We'll get to that, but first, let me ask about the collar. Laura gives a fierce growl at the mention of the device. Can it, Stark? And let's focus. What exactly was all that? He's called Ultron. He took all our work and used the internet to escape. Looks like he's been in everything. Files, surveillance. Probably knows more about us than we know about each other. Rhodey steps in and suggests that they should probably make some calls, in case Ultron decides to make access to something more dangerous than just their files, like perhaps nuclear access codes. The question on who he killed is brought up, and Tony reveals the broken pieces of Jarvis. Bruce looks on in disbelief. Ultron could have assimilated Jarvis. This isn't strategy. This is rage. Throughout all this, Laura looks at the ground, only looking up at the people every so often. That is until Thor returns and goes straight for Tony, something that she suddenly finds very interesting. Though Thor would love to strangle Tony, he realizes that the Legionnaire is gone and took the scepter. When asked why Ultron is trying to kill them, Tony laughs, upsetting everyone. Tony then, much to the protest of Bruce, explains that the world needs this because after the alien attack on New York,
that's the end game. How are you guys planning on beating that? Together. We'll lose. And we'll do that together too.
the team decides they need to find Ultron as quickly as possible, and everyone goes their separate ways to start working. Nat holds her hand out to Laura, who looks at her, but takes it, showing Natasha that she's slowly warming up to her. Clint walks over to them to speak to Nat, and to introduce himself. So you're the kid causing all the fuss for Nat, huh? Well, it's nice to meet you. Clint kneels down to her level. Laura, obviously not appreciating this, looks at him and growls aggressively. Clint jumps back, earning a chuckle from Nat, who places her hands on Laura's shoulders and turns her away. We're still working on that. I don't think she's quite warmed up to you yet, Uncle Clint. Yeah, I've noticed. On the plus side, Clint stops and turns to grin at Tony, who looks at him quizzically. I'll take that Ferrari in purple. And that's where I'm going to end this part. So, I'll be honest with you guys, originally I had actually stopped this part right after Laura actually finally speaks to Nat, but I decided that since I hadn't done this in a while, and because I was actually really kind of getting into this, I really wanted to make this a bit of a longer one, so I hope you guys did enjoy this. I'm definitely going to keep working on these, especially now with the unfortunate I'm gonna date this. I'm gonna end up dating this by saying this, but the unfortunateness of the coronavirus quarantine going on, I have a little bit more time, so I'm gonna be working on a lot more projects, and hopefully I can get more of these. I really want to get through this because I won't lie to you, I'm probably most excited about the next part, which also includes Civil War, because Civil War is definitely one of my favorite movies, and I really want to get through that, through, you know, Infinity War, Endgame, all this, but I'm starting to ramble, so we're going to move on. But if you guys did enjoy this, please leave a like, leave a comment down below. If you haven't already, subscribe and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys later. Peace.